Thank you. Dr. D, if you're speaking, you're muted.
No, he's not. He's good. He's thumbs up.
All right. So, yeah, it looked like people are live.
He says hold.
All right. So we're counting down on YouTube. So welcome team, be ready. We have 1 minute, 24 seconds go. I watch YouTube to see when the countdown comes. The music is very good.
All right. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our kings and queens, global ambassadors. We thank you all very much for joining us today. We sorry for the delay, but we are up and running and firing off of 8 cylinders. Not to worry, on this Sunday, uh, January 19, 2025, the day before Martin Luther King birthday. I think it's today, but it normally celebrated on the Monday. All right, wonderful. So we thank you all very much for joining us here on the Dream Team webinar. To all our YouTube viewers, we thank you for joining us also, and we are so sorry for the delay. We are going to move right along. We have, of course, Queen Marie Pendy and King Alfred, who is going to start us off with the proper welcome. Take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Derek. Good afternoon from my end here. Um, my name is Alfred Check, coming to you from the state of Maryland here in the United States. Welcome to the Dream Team webinar. We are having a great show today. Sorry for the inconveniences. As I indicated earlier, in this platform, we treat people, each and everyone, with so much respect and professionalism. We hope that do not take offense for what has happened, and let's keep praying that our O Connect will be back so that we will not encounter stuff like this. Sister Marie Pendy, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Marie Pendy. I'm coming from Virginia, USA. I'm here to welcome everyone to this great webinar. Sometimes things start rough, but I can assure you we're going to have a great webinar today. Welcome, everyone, and over to you, Dr. Pat.
All right, wonderful. I am definitely not Dr. Pat, however, I am um, sitting in today for our lovely Queen, Dr. Patience. And so at this time, we just want to thank you for joining us and thank you, King Alfred and Queen Marie Pendy, for giving us such a warm dream team welcome. Without any further ado, we know that the next thing that we are going to get into is our theme song. Wonderful theme song from a wonderful person, international singing artist, our own one and only Queen Lerato Shadari. And on that song that she has gracefully and nobly gifted to us, so we use it as our theme song here. There are some videos that is also included with her themes, with the theme song. And so take a good look at this video with the theme song with our own Lerato Shadari as we kick off our Dream Team meeting this wonderful Sunday afternoon.
We are here. We are on passive Your next stop is ONPASSIVE.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday of 2025. All around the globe. It's so wonderful to see many familiar faces joining this amazing webinar. Now, it all depends upon your location, wherever you're coming from. Now, whether you are turning from near or far, we are thrilled to have you here. This special Dream Team webinar. At this moment, I am going to introduce our mindset for today. As you all know, you guys know, many of you guys are the accurate. His name is Dr. John Ajongu. Could you please proceed?
Thank you, Queen Benny. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. And for those of us who haven't had the opportunity to talk to each other since the year started, Happy New Year, especially to our special guest today, Dr. Bill Williams. Today, I wanted to, it's funny that when I was asked to say I can bring forth a mindset, I just randomly thought about the power of finishing strong as something we can talk about. And I did not realize we're going to start our webinar today in a funny way, but the power of us finishing strong is important. So let me just sort of share something that I sort of realized over time. When I was a student, back in Birmingham, England, in the UK, I really loved watching athletics, and I still love watching athletics. But in those earlier days, my passion about watching athletics was to really see the spectacular way in which the athletes would fall. You know, when they make a blunder,
Recording in progress.
It was very hilarious. The other at top speed, and occasionally they'll miss the bar or they miss the beam and fall. And I used to sort of find pleasure in those days seeing some of these people actually try to succeed in athletics and fail. But then, and as a student, I didn't have a lot of money, but there was the opportunity for us to actually go and watch some of these athletes practice for a fraction of the cost of actually going to the tournament itself. And that was like a big realization for me, because the first time I went there, what I saw was, it really amazed me, because the the balance beam, people like Simone Biles, you see them jumping on that thing as if they are on a highway. Those balance beams are just 6 inches wide. Think about it. If you can just measure 6 inches wide, and you see how these athletes would sort of really balance on them, they would jump, they would do all types of somersaults. I looked at them, and then I went and looked at the other um, apparatuses that they use for their gymnastics, and even the floor, the mat that they will land perfectly on, and not only near the landing, but make sure that they did not go outside the square. It really amazed me. One thing that I did after watching the sizes of this equipment that the athletes really perform on was I spent about an hour watching them obviously practice because that's what I went there for. And one of the things that I saw was there was a lot of sweat, obviously. There were a lot of these athletes that would put like some powder on their hands. They would fly on these beams. They'll miss them. They'll land on their face. They'll land on their face. They'll get up. They'll cry. They'll go back. They'll retry. Their coaches will talk to them. They go back again a second time. They miss the beam. They fall. They cry. They get up. And I just stood there and I thought, like, this is real torture. Because if these guys just and ladies kept falling and getting up and falling and getting up and falling and getting up, what kept them going? And then, obviously, when the indoor athletics itself started, I couldn't afford the ticket, but at least I could watch it on TV. And what I saw during the competition was nothing short of perfection. The numbers of falls that I saw during the practice, the numbers, the amount of crying, and the number of trying out again, it was not apparent during the competition. When you saw the gold medalists, they were close to perfect. But having actually had the opportunity to see what they were going through, the only thing that reminded me was if these ladies and gentlemen had sort of quit or quit when they fell a couple of times, the coaches were like really mean to them. They would not even have had the chance to compete, let alone give themselves the opportunity to even be able to win a medal. So when I sat back and I started reflecting on something that I saw a long time ago and where we are today in our journey with OnPassive, you can actually draw a lot of parallels because our CEO, the teams that are out there working hard, can you imagine how many times they have been punched in the face? How many times they have missed the parallel bars? How many times they've done a flip and they're about to land on the beam and they land on the floor, or they hit another part of their body on the beam? Can you imagine the pains? Can you imagine how many times they have to get up, bandage themselves up all over, and come back and try again? That is what we are actually going through at the moment. And then today, at church service, there was a song that was played, which sort of just brought everything full loop. And I'm going to be very brief with this mindset because the song I listened was very telling. And there were a couple of verses in that song, which I thought I may like to share with all of us. Because when you listen to those ones and we see where we are on this journey, it will really encourage us that if we stay the course, then success will be ours. And some of those words that I got from that song go like this: Take courage, my heart. Stay steadfast, my soul. He is in the waiting. And when I heard this particular phrase, he is in the wedding, and then it reminded me of what our CEO, Mr. Mufari, has said several times, that what he is doing with OnPassive is from a higher power. And the only thing that he knows can kill OnPassive is God. But this phrase that he is in the wedding really makes it even more important and poignant. And if the verse continued, hold on to your hope as your triumphs unfold. Hold on to your hope as your triumph unfold. He is never failing. He who holds the stars in place and calls each by name will surely keep his promise to us. How interesting. He who holds the stars in place and names them one by one would actually keep his promise to us that we will rise in victory. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, doesn't really matter what obstacles we have, even obstacles of starting a webinar and being interrupted by people who don't really care what we're trying to do here. Let us hold on to our dreams as our success unfolds, because waiting, he is with our CEO and the team that are trying to undo the wrong that has been done to us as a community. And if we hold on to those hopes and dreams and stay positive and support one another in the right way, then we would only rejoice as our success unfolds. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you take something from what our great leader, Dr. Bill Williams, will share with us here today. Over to Queen Bee.
Thank you so much, our King Dr. John Ajangwe. I really appreciate you based upon your I really appreciate you, Dr. John, based upon your mindset. Uh, I just figure out something that you said. He is wedding. He is in the wedding. Now, making us to understand that, oh, right. You make us to understand that our CEO, he make us to understand that, hey, the only thing, our CEO always say that no one can stop ONPASSIVE except God. God is in charge of this amazing company. We will rise in the victory. Based upon is happening within our amazing company, what our CEO is facing, we do know that everything is going to come to pass. He has hired our newest tech team, and all of us will be very happy. Our CEO is waiting, and he said that we should stay positive. Thank you so much. He's ready to stay positive. Nothing else. Do not stay negative. Proceed. You guys to know that ONPASSIVE is real. ONPASSIVE is here to stay. And ONPASSIVE, again, God sent our CEO to all of us. That is why we are still here up to today. Thank you so much, Dr. John Ajangwe. We appreciate him. Yes, please. All right. As you all know, we do have our next presenter. The presenter for today, you guys know who he is. Our Dr. Bill Williams. Happy 2025. Happy New Year, Dr. Bill. You guys know we don't really have to introduce him because he knows everything. You guys know who Dr. Bill is. Dr. Bill, are you ready for us?
Rootin' tootin' ready to go. Thank you, Dr. Benny.
So much. Yes,
Thank you, John. That was excellent opening comments. I do appreciate each and every word shared. I want to wish happy birthday to Shadari. Yesterday, maybe? Turned 29. How about that? Well, it's good to be with you all. I like to have a time to spend with my friends around ONPASSIVE. These days, it's been a period of walking purpose for me anyway. I laid low because not a lot of new information to share. We're waiting for the word to come down, and I was so grateful for what we heard on Christmas Eve and on New Year's. So every time we have a small piece of the pie delivered from our leader Ashes, it's a blessing. the pieces of the puzzle seem to be coming together. Little hints coming here and there about what's coming. So I'm very hopeful and positive about ONPASSIVE. As everyone knows, I never doubt. I always look for the optimist point of view of everything. I don't tolerate the negative, just like most of us don't. What I want to do today is speak to a journey that I've been on. If you understand where I've been, you may be able to then go forward in your life. And if you're suffering some of the doubts or some of the concerns that some that are firm believers in ONPASSIVE, if you follow the rationale that I follow, then you probably will improve your disposition about how you feel. You know, you'll become more patient, you'll become more tolerant of things that don't work on your timetable. So that's kind of the point I'm going to make today, is to follow my journey, give you some examples, and the resource that I've leaned on for the last 40 years. I'll show you what they are. How do you finish well? You know, I turned 75 this year in a few months. And I'm coming to the realization that there is a time when it's all over, and you have to prepare for that time. My best friend in dentistry passed away yesterday. Somebody that I've been friends with for 40 years, had a full life of 82 years. And so as we all go through the times, we get to that point where we start seeing our best friends pass along, you start to thinking about what is your legacy and what are you going to do? And ONPASSIVE is all about legacy, right? So I'm really interested in this story today to share with you, because it's all about what legacy will you leave when you leave this earth, and where will you end up? 2025 New Year greetings to everyone. You know, you may think about this as the day the fall of TikTok, but I look at it more as the rise of ONPASSIVE, of OConnect and ONET. You know, what goes away is replaced by something better. So hopefully that's prophetic. This is Martin Luther King Day, the day the captives are set free, literally in America. But listen, Isaiah 61:1 talked about setting the captives free many thousands of years ago, before Martin Luther King ever thought about his points of view on setting captives free. But I want to read Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord has appointed me to bring news to the poor, to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to all those who are bound. ONPASSIVE is a part of that dream of setting the captives free, the economic captives of the world. And so we're filling one of the great commissions in the scriptures when we talk about the implementation of ONPASSIVE. So it's positive goal. And I wanted to put together and show you my Zoom PowerPoint presentation now. Yes, I need to, first of all, go to the share button, don't I? Share. Now, can you guys see that?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Click on the green button.
The screen that you're sharing, maybe.
Let me fix that so it's just right. Mm. I'll get it.
That's good.
Yes, you're getting it up here. There we go.
You see that already?
Yes, we can.
Okay, here we go. Now,
You need to.
for me, look where we started. I started talking to the dream team years ago, and we had a dream that things would come out pretty quick, and we touted many individual products, and here we are today at a time where 2025 and we don't have any products for public use yet. We've gone back to the drawing board a few times, haven't we? So I want to explain to you how I see finishing well. Today, the lecture is on finishing well and how I see that. I used to be a very active practicing dentist, as you all know. And over the years, I recognized that I tend to operate in 10-year cycles. Over 50 years in practice and dentistry, I had 4 different practice facilities and locations. But now I'm in what I call my retirement location. I don't go to work every day on T. I go to work, if anything, on passive, or I go to work on preparing for the next 10-year cycle, which is going to be focused around family and friends. When I was growing up as a dentist, I focused in my initial training on 4, 5, 6 different topics. Every 10 years, I would kind of pick another topic to become expert in. And in focusing on technical excellence, you become capable of doing more. And so it's very important early in your life to major in the specifics. So if you want to become excellent, you need to know what your products are, you need to know what your techniques are. And so I went through the training, I got advanced enough early on to write books and chapters in books about how to do things to benefit people. For instance, one thing I developed was a pain relief splint technique and wrote chapters on it, how to make something that was quick, easy, inexpensive, effective for pain relief, that was also 100% reversible and didn't injure anybody if it didn't work, which would be the opposite of surgery, which would be permanent and disfiguring if it didn't work. So these were the things that I was involved in that first 10-year cycle. But then I transitioned, and the most important word here is I transitioned from learning and focusing on things and techniques to focusing on people skills. And I went to the point where I was going beyond developing myself technically to being able to market, to communicate, to lead, to teach my team to be productive, efficient, and effective. So as things go on, you learn different skills. I got outside of dentistry, of course, and was involved in 10 different multi-level direct market or business activities outside of dentistry. And so I learned the value of something we all hold very dear, multiple streams of income, diversity of product and market, and also the world markets. So I was able to travel over those 50 years to 56 different countries around the world and learn a lot from people outside of my sphere where I grew up, which I think that's important, that we all become international, knowledgeable citizens. We may be from one place, but we recognize the important people from all over the world. So I want to talk about 2 books that I read that have been a hallmark of the way I look at the world right now. After I had made a transition from Stone Mountain to Swanee, my second big practice, I read a book and I recognized in the book that I had done what the book talked about. That book was called Halftime by Bob Buford. And in that, the learning and the striving and the growth period is emphasized. What I talked about was my technical time. Then I was reading, and it explained about the halftime, that you take stock and you formulate a plan for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be at the exact middle of your life. You know, it could be just a point in time where you realize what you've been doing is not serving the greater good. But for me, it was about 1997. I realized I was going to move and start over, and I started over at age 48. And what came after that period was a spiritual decade. And I went through Bible study fellowship. It was an organized 12-year Bible study where we would study different books, one book a year sometimes. I went through being a Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, Christian evangelical to a Christian Pentecostal charismatic, you know, open to many ideas that the Spirit still lives and works within us. So that was my spiritual growth during the last 25 years. And I believe God is active in and working through us today. And that's the bottom line. I don't think he's finished giving us the power to direct and improve his world in his name. So in this book, Halftime, you know, I took many things you know about already, the missions focus to Kenya, Tanzania, Haiti, Honduras, and Vietnam. And it was a time for me for revitalization and catching a new vision for living that second half of my life. Going from serving myself to serving others was the primary focus. And this half I found was more rewarding than the first half. You know, I taught dentists how to be a better dentist in the first half of my life, but I taught dental teams and people outside of dentistry how to live a more fulfilled life in my second part of my life that I've lived so far. And the way the book describes that is moving from success to significance. And that's what we all want. We want to take the success we've had and make a significant contribution. That would lead us into the legacy question of what significance is our life if we don't leave something behind that makes a difference. So I went from serving self to serving others, and my friend Tabula in the Maasai land of Kenya was one of my first patients. And you can see the transition over 7 years here from massive tumor in her jaw to after the tumor's been removed with 2 different surgeries, saying 5 years, an obturator denture made, and then us coming back for a reunion on another visit where she is healthy and happy and living a fruitful life. So significance is you made impact in different people's lives. Well, Bob Buford wrote more than one book. And so along the way, maybe 5 years ago, I read that book. It's called Finishing Well. And what he did was he studied 40 individuals, more than 40. They were age 40 or beyond, essentially halfway or longer in their journey in life. And he looked at the opportunity they had, that they had furthered their life from their successes and what significance they created. And he wanted to kind of study these inspiring journeys. I think it was 60 people that he studied, and what really did they do differently that led to their fulfillment of going from success to significance. See, a lot of people can be successful, but not as many are significant. That's kind of the thing I noticed about Ash. He wants to take his success he's had, let others be successful based on that, and then to turn what their life is into significance on a grand scale, because he sees the vision. So what I've done now is I've taken some of the pearls of wisdom from the book, Finishing Well, and I got a quote, and I want to kind of weave those into a story. So the first quote is, "We are made to work and to maintain meaning in our lives. We need to be engaged in work is meaningful and purposeful. God wants us to engage. Do one good thing a day, he said. Support yourself and family first, your community, and then work out from the center. Work. Don't stop working. Don't just sit there and collect money and live off the fat of the land, the fat of ONPASSIVE. No, he wants to put to work the proceeds that we get to benefit the world. If people see they're probably not going to finish very well, because you can't finish well when you're going backwards. Well, in my life, I teach something called the growth curve. When I teach dental teams, dental practice, when I consult with individuals, I tell them about the typical dental practice. It grows, it peaks, and it fades. The typical bell curve for a business. Dentistry is no different than most businesses. A lot of people will grow them, magnify their benefit, and then they lose the edge and they fail, slowly fail. Maybe they get out before it fails totally, or maybe it totally goes back to zero when they quit the business and the business does. This is typical. Well, to me, we need to shepherd our resources better. Another quote about shepherding is, shepherd what has been achieved, obtained, and put it to use for the good of mankind. And I've always strived to do that myself by teaching what I learned in the mastermind sessions, on the podcast. And when you learn to give to the people tools, strategies, then they can be successful. And so that was like my purpose, to shepherd what I had learned. I didn't just learn it and forget it when I retired. I hope I had delivered it into the hands of the people who could continue it after I retired. And so for that same thought pattern, this is the way I built my life, and this is the way I suggest you build yours, is that you have a continuing overlapping set of curves to your life and your businesses, so that you never have a downturn in your life. As you can see from the graph, I opened up right out of dental school, and every 4, 5, 10 years, I would add a new concept, a new business place, a new thing, and I would grow. And if I ever got stagnant, I would just add something else. And as you can see, there's practice transition. There's the 5M Mastermind. I sold the practice in 2012. I started the mastermind and did that for 8 or 10 years. And now I'm in the anti-aging and ASEA business as a side gig, and ONPASSIVE as a side gig. ONPASSIVE has now become my main gig. And so I'm waiting for that to take hold and to jump into the next top, as Ash talks about. So we can retire from our jobs, but we can never retire from our calling. And so my calling is to finish well. And finishing well means to share what I've learned and to motivate those people around me to shepherd what we are able to accumulate. You know, we all expect to accumulate quite a lot. We expect that through ONPASSIVE, we'll have an accumulation that will be beyond our needs. And so we can figure out a good way to shepherd it into the hands of those who can do more with it than we can do. So spreading the wealth. Another pearl of wisdom is to live pale. We live pale and empty lives here on earth because we're ignorant about what lies ahead. We need to see that the dimensions of life are so much greater than what we see here and touch today. And this is the common man, the average man who's not as spiritual, perhaps, who would look at that as an earthly sentence of being pale and empty. But beyond earth, beyond our life on earth, there's the afterlife. A lot of people have different views of what is the afterlife, how it's achieved and all. So one of the things I've been most interested in, that I've shared recently, a few posts on social media about are stories of the afterlife, places in the heavenlies where people have actually died and come back from the heavenlies and spoken of what they saw. And so I'm encouraged, and just like you read the Bible with Ezekiel or the Revelation of John, you read about things that are in the heavenlies, and you go, well, that's just in the Bible. Well, currently there's thousands of people who have stories of the afterlife, just as if they were witnessing what's going on, just like Ezekiel. Now, if you are wondering what it's like, I would suggest you find some of the more biblical types of stories. There's a lot of them on there that are not quite biblical. They're spiritualist, and I don't have a lot of faith in their accuracy. But the thing I would recommend is expose yourself to near-death experienced travelers who have been in places that we've not been, and you may find that very interesting. What about the pearls of wisdom that kind of relate to ONPASSIVE? People who achieve have a habit of achievement that begs for sustaining. And I think that's evident when you look at Ash. He wants to sustain his achievement. He wants to put things in place that don't require a lot of input and work to succeed. That's his whole goal for ONPASSIVE, right? His quote on his book cover that was put together by a founder said, "A quitter never wins and a winner never quits." That's called sustaining. Sustaining. Another thing we need to keep in mind is we learn the art of finishing well so that we can shift into a far more fulfilling life now, no matter our age, and pursue a lasting significance that will be a legacy for future generations. So every one of us has a legacy. We all started something, we all support something. I'm so passionate about OPassive in Singapore, Malaysia, because that was one of my first social media online systems. And we're learning their role in everyday life, right? And people have come up with many different programs. We're trying to come up with programs that tie them all together. We're trying to come up with a unification. And so we have a high goal that's going to lead us to upgrade, hopefully, your income by adopting these better systems. We also want to upgrade your results with modernization. The technology that we want to put into ONPASSIVE, we want to be better than any of these technologies you see on the screen. Can we do it? That's only up to our technology partners, our strategists that work for us. If we do that, then we will upgrade our technology so well that we'll be in the proverbial catbird seat to lead. You know, if you can be as good as TikTok, but not being owned by an adversary of your country, that's a better deal. And so America right now is looking for somebody to replace TikTok that's not an adversary. Could that be passive? We don't know. We hope so. We'd like that to be so. We're looking for something to. I think we've got a good answer for that one. So we keep looking at all these things. Everything that you see on this screen, we can do. How we do it depends on how well our engineers get together and how Ash's vision is implemented. But we want it to happen. We want them to choose ONPASSIVE. The world choosing ONPASSIVE would be the answer to all of our dreams and desires. So 2024, you could call that ONPASSIVE halftime. We really took a break. We sat on the beach and watched the waves. Not much happened in 2024 from our point of view, the founders. Now, a lot was going on behind the scenes with Ash and his struggle. But right now, we're in the cycles of life that includes the ups and downs of ONPASSIVE, and we're in the period of intermission on our side of the equation. there's no intermission with Ash and what he's doing with his tech team. So we're down here waiting for the announcement. We've been through our midlife crisis as founders. You know how many people didn't make it through? A lot of quitters showed up, a lot of people who didn't have their focus right. But we're focusing better now. We're focusing on a new beginning in 2025. So I want to pronounce that it's a time for renewal. Prophetically, this is a time for the new year, a new renewal in ONPASSIVE, and it's time to take hold with both hands. So what we know for sure is that there are pathfinders, or what we call code breakers, identified in the book, Finishing Well. And one of my mentors, Charlie Tremendous Jones, says this. He says, you will be the same person in 5 years as you are today, except for the people you meet and the books you read. And that was written before social media. So I would say before YouTube, before Facebook, before all the products and services that we take our information from. The people you meet, you know, Tabitha and Tusker Yang are good Hmong friends. Who would we be if they had not been part of ONPASSIVE? If they had not met us, we had not met them. The whole Hmong community for them around the world has come together under their tutelage, and they are a strong, strong part of ONPASSIVE. And we have many groups just like that. These are pathfinders. These are people who lead the way, who bring in significant others. Ash is the pilot of the entire ship, of course. It was his original vision. It was his methods of marketing, his means, his financial means, and his guidance throughout that led us to get to where we are since 2018. Can you believe it? How long it's been? And we still have the same pilot. The ship is moving forward. We've got groups of dedicated code breakers, those who, from countries, languages, ethnic origins, religious groups, or genders, who come together and form strong teams. You know, the Dream Team, the Deep Dive, the Julie Pierre group, the folks that are in Women Empowering Women, the groups that are all around the world. Each of us has strengths and weaknesses. Each of us speaks languages that are listened to and that identify with each of our own beliefs or our own heritages. So we listen to people around the world, and I can't really listen to Bangladesh or Hindi speech and understand it much, so I don't tend to hang out with those guys as much, but we do join together at times with translators, and I've enjoyed having translation in many languages. But a lot of us stick with the people we understand right off, you know, the business lessons we learned from Mike Ellis, and he talks about $1, or the OTEC pros from Great Britain, US. They talked about the tech. And of course, everybody learned about Bless, especially when we listened to Chris and Marty talking in the early days. And there was never a doubt that we had a culture forming. And Ashman Farah was the author of the culture. You know, who we are today is based on what he wanted to shape and create. The culture is shaped and curated over the fire of the furnace. Cultures are mixed and mingled to the benefit of all. And who better can you imagine to shape the culture than the ONPASSIVE 360 guys? Early on, the Julie and Milo show, they interviewed everybody, including the famous John Barilla of New York City. Rob Lynn Live. Even before Rob Lynn Live, it was
the one for the pornography. I did listen to Dr. Beer too.
It was Friday Night Live.
All
It was Dream Team, and it was people all over the world. In Africa, in Israel, South America, all over. So with Ash, what we say is he gets results. there's much evidence that exists in the physical world today of his success and ONPASSIVE's presence. The Burj Khalifa, the highest office in the world, the advertising all over Dubai, OConnect itself, a product. And then not only the paid product, but the free products that were donated and given to everyone around the world. I think we're back to where we were right here. And, essentially, this is a reflection of the ONPASSIVE life. When more minds have been touched and hearts changed, and we're looking at finishing well together, we're contemplating what is our next life. We all want our next life to begin on earth, not elevate to the next level today. We want the next life to be a good life on earth with our family and friends. And so that's the promise of the ONPASSIVE life. Now, when Ash says, let's have good times and let's have a good life on earth, he means have good food, have good times together. So he always enjoys getting together and having food and fellowship together. And with the Atlanta ONPASSIVE group get together years ago, where we shared at a barbecue restaurant. And then some of the Hmong group came down from Alaska to Atlanta, and we even met at the Waffle House, a famous Southern tradition. So everything that we do revolves around getting together on a regular basis. And that's an important part of ONPASSIVE is building friendships. The more minds that are touched and hearts changed, then we can contemplate our next best life. Ash says that the gift, or Eric says that the gift from Ash that keeps on giving is ONPASSIVE. Once this thing starts, it will give and give and give. And so that's the message today, that if finishing well is something you want to do, then the journey forward is to be involved and be a part of ONPASSIVE. Average people are not really who Ash is looking for. He says not everyone can be a founder. We need to be above average to be founders. Ash said, I'm fired up to change the world. This was New Year's 2021, 2025. He's fired up now after all he's been through. So if he's fired up, I'm fired up. And I know you will be too. So that's the message I wanted to share. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dr. Benny Maria, and Dr. Derek.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Bill Williams. We appreciate what you have done. And one message you gave us was about Isaiah 61, verse 1, which states that the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord God is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. Now, this is the same thing like our CEO has been anointed, right? Well, the way I look at things is that God sent our CEO to us. There are a lot of people. We have 8.2 billion plus on earth, but he has been chosen to help humanity. I believe to help the poor. Now, something came up about the clinical focus that you should pen release. It's like pen release split, which has easy to make inexpensive. And then you talk about transition, things and techniques for people, marketing, communication on and on. Then you said you went on with MLM, 10 in 10 years, the value of multiples, stream of income. And again, you talk about Halftime by Bob Buffett, the learning, thriving or striving, the growth, the period that was emphasized. Then you talk about the spiritual decade, I think. And then you talk about the Christian evangelistic, Pentecostal, charismatic. And then you said God is active. Oh, yes, I do understand. Well, the way I look at it is that God is active because, hey, He woke all of us up this morning, right? This morning, afternoon, or evening. That's why we are here today. And then you talk about in this book of halftime, a time of revitalization and for catching a new vision for living what? The second life. And you make us that we should focus on what? Serving self, serving others. Now, by us serving others, our CEO make us to understand that by you joining ONPASSIVE, correct me if I'm wrong, when you join ONPASSIVE, I believe when you all your bills, and are you thinking of helping our underprivileged children or people who are in need all over the globe? Then the next thing you talk about, their pearls of wisdom. We are made to make, we are made to work for, and to maintain what? The meanings of our life. We need to be engaged, to work. That, that means that if we have to be engaged to work, our CEO make us to understand that we have to be engaged. You don't have to just sit and just be waiting for our CEO, right? You got to be engaged when it comes to this particular amazing company. And then you talk something about shepherding. Shepherd what has been achieved to obtain and to put into use. You make us to also understand that we can retire from our jobs, but we can never retire from our callings. The callings from our CEO, the callings from you too. God calls you because you went out to Africa to help our people. There are people who are in need in Africa. I just want to, first of all, thank you for what you have done and what you will continue to do to help our Africans who are in need. You make us also to understand that we live pearls and empty lives here on earth because we are ignorant about what lies ahead. And we need to see that the dimension of life are so much greater than what we can see here on earth. Anyway, well, I know I don't have to talk that much, but hey, you make us to say, hey, Mr. Ash says, I am fired up. Mr. Ash is always fired up to change what? He is here to change the world. We know. Notice how he talks about it all the time. I do understand, Dr. Bill, that a lot of people out there, they get mad when Mr. I am here to change the world. People say, you know, who is he that he wants to change the world? But I know that Mr. Brack has the confidence. He is willing to do what it takes to help humanity. I thank you, Dr. Bill Williams, for this presentation. I would say extraordinary presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Benny. Your summary was exquisite. You're such a good listener. Thank you for summarizing it well.
Thank you so much, Doc. So at this moment, our mindset as well as the presenter for today. So update team, I'm sorry, question and discussion team, can you guys come and introduce yourself? Queen Yvonne Fain.
Greetings, Dr. Benny, and thank you. My name is Yvonne Flynn, as you just mentioned. I reside in Canada. I do wear different hats sometimes, but I'm mostly monitoring the chat for questions and comments. I will do so as the time comes.
Thank you so much, Queen Yvonne Fain. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Queen Engineer Bridget, are you available? All right. Queen Kanla Rahel, could you please introduce yourself? unmute yourself, Queen Kanla. She can't. Okay. Thank you. Queen Aisha, are you available, please? Okay. Now, despite the fact I believe nowadays I'm wearing multiple hats, right?
Yeah.
My name is D. Benny.
I think Sister Kanla has managed to unmute herself, if you can see.
Queen Kanla, proceed, please.
Yes. Thank you so much, Queen Dr. Benny. Sorry, I needed to be muted since I joined in while the meeting was already going on. Well, good afternoon, good Sunday, our brand ambassadors. Massive Dream Team, is always a pleasure to be here with you every Sunday. And we are honored and humbled to have our brother and King, Dr. Bill Williams. Thank you so much. Oh, I didn't get to listen to the invitation, but I can't wait to go and listen to the wealth of knowledge that you have shared with us today. Thank you always for coming to grace us with your presence. My name is Kanla Rahel from the state of Delaware, and I will be joining the Dream Team Q&D for the rest of the afternoon. So thank you. Back to you, Queen Dr. Benny.
I thank you so much, Queen Kanla Rahel. Before I proceed with the questions and discussion, I want each and every one, if you have any question, you can either write your question on the chat or you raise your hands electronically. Remember, we are here to serve you. But before I proceed, I want to really take this moment to thank our welcome team. Thank you all so much, Queen Sister Marie Pendy. We appreciate the way you welcome us. Thank you. King Alfred and Jay, thank you so much. We all love you. The way I just want to thank you, like the way you supported us with what transpired today, which it has never happened. Even though we are still seeing it, it's because those people, their mindset is too low. They don't know what it is with our extraordinary company. They don't know about this company because they just come and be messing up things, which is not correct. So you guys are listening to me, get if you are in here. Thank you. Now, I want to thank we do have moderator, Rose, who is always on the YouTube chat. Thank you so much for watching the YouTube. Thank you. I also want to thank our one and only host for today, Queen Dr. Pat Ajongwe. I really appreciate what you do. Thank you so much for this amazing webinar. Because of this dream theme, we are here to learn from each other. You guys notice what our presenter presented today, right? Yes, our presenter. I really appreciate you, Dr. Bill Williams, for your extraordinary presentation. We appreciate you. Now, our update teams. We do have King Dr. Derek and King Kanla Rahel. Thank you all for everything, for all your help, and for the love and support that you guys have for us. And again, you guys notice our question and discussion team. Queen Yvonne Finn, I know you're always here. I know that you wear multiple hats, just like Queen Kanla Rahel. Thank you so much for your love and support within this amazing company with the determination that you guys have here. Thank you all.
Excellent.
Now,
Thank you.
all right, for the question and discussion, Queen Kanla, do you have any question on the chat?
You mean me or do you really mean Queen Kanda?
Oh, I'm sorry, Queen Yvonne, sorry.
That's okay. There are no questions there yet, but I see Brother Pius has his hand up. You see that, right, sister?
Yes, please. Brother Pius, our king brother, could you please unmute yourself and share your excitement about this topic?
Good evening, good afternoon to everyone, and compliment of season. I'm sorry where I am. I'm in the restaurant. I'm in Africa, enjoying my holidays. Can you hear me, Dr. Benny?
Yes, sir. Proceed,
So
sir.
compliment to each and every one of us. I know 2025 is a year of favor, a year of progress, a year of apple. I just want to thank Dr. B. William, Dr. Benny, Dr. Derek, Dr. P, and Kamla, and each and every one of us. Because I'm sorry for the noise. I'm in a restaurant, and you know the African way of restaurant. So, but because of the love I have on you guys, I have to log in and listening and put my earpod. So I'm so excited and I'm so patient because the patient dogs eat the best food. So I'm trying to encourage each and every one of us to have patience. Patience is the key because very soon, always check your OES, always log in, check your OES, always go to your alternate email. And for those who haven't activated their OConnect, get ready because we won't have much time to activate it when the door opens. If you haven't activated it and you haven't saved the money and you are waiting for us to give us update about that and you are not ready, you did yourself. Nobody did to you. So compliment of the season to each and every one of us, and we hope very soon all the burden will go. You guys know what is happening for USA today. You guys know about TikTok. You guys know what is going on with TikTok. 117 million people are banned from TikTok. What about us? We are coming on. We are coming on. Get ready for the greatest shape of your life. So I thank you. I thank everyone. If I don't mention your name, forgive me. I'm enjoying palm wine in a rural area. So enjoy yourself. Be happy. Compliment each and every one of us. Thank you so much, Dr. Benny. Thank you, Kamla. And thank you, others.
Thank you, Brother Pius. Thank you. Drink some wine for us, please.
Please don't drink all the wine alone. Now you have just made us now to start craving for that sweet palm wine. So thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, King Brother Pius. You guys just heard what he said, right? Make sure, based upon me, your email. Make sure, because our CEO said that too. Make sure the first thing is before you know how to, we do understand that you can log into your ecosystem, but try to see there are some people who have more than 10 accounts, right? Make sure you can log into your email, your Yahoo or Gmail. The reason is that because it is our alternate email, right? So that should in case when we start, right? And you have problem now logging into the ecosystem, now they're going to send you, hopefully, send you like the 6-digit code, and they will send it where? To your alternate email. So if you can log to your alternate email, that is trouble.
Yes.
Right? But before we proceed again, I want to really thank our mindset for today. You guys know who he is, right? Our King, Dr. John Ajongwe. Thank you so much. You know, I didn't forget you. Did you guys notice what he said? Now, if you did now, say something. Are you guys excited again about this amazing company?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
I
want to say something, Dr. Benny, after all that.
Yes, please, proceed.
I do want to thank Dr. Jan. I just love how he always starts off. It sounds so simple, but it's so deep what he says. He's reminding us that it's a process, right? ONPASSIVE going on is a process. It's a great insight for us to always keep in mind, Dr. John. Thank you. And hold on to your hope. It's the song that he talked about. As your triumphs unfold, we see it unfolding for us. He's not telling us anything that we can't see for ourselves, but some of us need it to be pointed out to us. It is a process. Life is a process. Everything is a process. So thank you, Dr. John. It is so simple and so profound. And I really appreciate how you deliver your mindset because, as Dr. Derek says, the mindset has got to be gotten right or else we're not going anywhere. None of us. We know that Mr. Mufara has his right mindset. Most of us here on Passive, we're working very hard on that. And so with people like you helping us, we absolutely will be strengthened and going forward. And I don't know if Dr. Bill is still here, but I certainly want to thank him as well, because that is a very, very inspiring talk that he just gave, because he talks about serving others, which is what we're all here to do, by the way, whether we have lots of resources or not, it doesn't matter. Our Creator put us here to help one another in any way that we can, whenever we can. And he also talks about self-reflection. Every 10 years, he looks at himself and he says, am I doing enough? Can I do better? And then he learns something else, which is something that I believe in, lifelong learning, always. Another book, you never know what will tweak your mind or whatever it is that you need to have tweaked. And so stewarding what we have, doing it wisely, not just spending foolishly, because everything that we have is finite, right? It's finite. No matter how much money we get in on passive, if you do it badly, it's going to be a big mess. So I just thank him for all those nuggets, those pearls, as he calls it. And then he says, our CEO is still even more so fired up. That's encouraging. And I really, really appreciate that he's holding it together for all of us. And he's, Mr. Mufara, he's asking so little of us, just to be loyal and supportive and not cause him any more headaches. That's not much to ask. He hasn't asked us for one penny more because we don't have it, most of us. And he's just doing all the work and just asking us to come with him. So I really appreciate that. And so I thank Dr. Bill and Dr. John. I wanted to ask Dr. Bill a question, but I don't see him.
Dr. Bill is right there.
Where? I don't see
Please,
him.
yeah, go ahead. Just ask the question. He will answer you, please.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Yvonne.
All right. Hi, Dr. Bill. So on the presentation, the very first slide that came up, I think it says something about not trying to find your patients on social media. Can you elaborate? Why do you think that's a bad move? It says social media patients, do not look for your patients there. You remember that?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah. And so I thought, wow, okay, because you know how many people are thinking that's the first place to run to look for business nowadays, right? So I'd like to know your take on that. Why do you think that's might be a problem?
I'm not sure I understand the question good enough to answer it. So when did I say something about that?
No, you didn't actually articulate that. But when the first or couple of slides in the background, I saw something that says, do not look for your patients on social media. I thought, what could be the... Okay, when you think of that, Dr. B, I would like to hear why that would be. I saw that quite clearly. I wrote it down as a matter of fact. So I thought, wow, you have a different take on why we shouldn't do that. So it's okay, Dr. Bill. We will figure it out. All right, other people might have some questions, so please go ahead. Work on that, Dr. Bill. Thank you.
Okay, while Dr. Bill is thinking, let me jump in here. I want to start by thanking you, Dr. Bill, for that powerful presentation. In spite of all the interruptions, you stayed your cool and carried on. The one thing that you were going through the presentation, and it was kind of funny that you said, "Oh, let me tell you my journey," and I kept thinking, yeah, he's sharing his journey, but at the back of it, you're really practicing what you're preaching. You are serving others. You're really like trying to walk us through that journey so that hopefully we can pick some snippets from those highlights and use them for our own. And I really want to thank you for that. A couple of things jumped out at me. One was the one that in 5 years' time, you'll be exactly the same person except for the friends, the people you keep, and the books you read. And I keep thinking, wow, how 5 years have transformed me in ONPASSIVE, because by just being with this community here, being with people like yourselves, it has definitely made me as an individual different. And if we take just those phrases that he just threw in passing and really reflect on them, that becomes like a very, very great uh, and powerful tool that we can use in our lives. And then somewhere along the line, you kind of you kind of depressed me by saying that when you showed the book, we said halftime, and I'm looking at myself and say, "Oh, damn, I'm three-quarter time," and I'm like thinking to myself, how much faster do I need to run to catch? But jokes aside, that's again an important thing because we can be blindsided by our quote unquote success, and we keep running along those along that track and not really realize there that we need to do a reflection. And I just thought, I don't know whether what you were saying was divine inspired, because again it tied down like to a sermon that I was hearing this morning, and it was talking about solitude. And solitude is not saying you should become like an island, but just this idea that we're rushing so much, we lose the essence of life. And sometimes to just take that deep breath, silence, no, be still and know that I am Lord, those type of phrases. When you talk about that idea of reflecting once you've gone through, it forces us to really, when you can actually maintain that stillness, it forces us to be able to evaluate what we've done and then maybe see what gaps we're able to fulfill even in the short time that we have on area. I thought that's a very powerful way that you put it by sharing with us. And I was just looking at that your graph because again, we as human beings, we can always look at the glass half empty along the way, or you can see failures, or we can try to live on our laurels. But when we look at every little dip and we see how we can build from that, it will really become a very useful tool for us. And I just sat down and I thought, you just came here and you literally served the 50 of us who came to this platform today and gave us a lot of knowledge. And I don't have a question. I just wanted to appreciate, I wanted to acknowledge, and I wanted to thank you for what you have said.
Yeah, John, you're right on target with the fact that it's God inspired. God told me a long time ago, the best way I can serve people is to show the way. And so one of the tools I use to teach is to tell where I've been. Hopefully I went to the right place, ended up in the right destination, but showing where I've been allows young people particularly to travel the same roads. And I always tended to travel the road less traveled, not the one that was the most common always, but it was always, I felt like the one that was the most successful or the one that was the most uh, ordained to succeed based on godly principles. That was kind of what I respect from the Holy Spirit talking to me all the time. Gives me the insights. If I share something, it's because I want somebody to have a better path than the one they would have chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Yvonne, I did find that slide, that picture that you asked about. I was not aware of what I was doing because that wasn't my
Okay,
particular.
it's not your thought. Okay, thanks, Dr. Bill. I appreciate
It
that.
was, see where it says also side?
Yes. I see that now. Thank you, Dr. Bill.
So I wrote the article, find out what a dentist
Yes.
says about having a side gig or two.
Yes, I see that. Thank you.
And another article in there was why social media is the worst way to get new patients.
Yes.
And somebody wrote that article, a dental magazine article, because it was impersonal. And I think it was the impersonality.
Yes.
The best way to get new patients is by referral, word of mouth.
Okay, that makes
But
sense.
you trust somebody better than you trust
Right.
a
Absolutely.
anonymous social media post.
Yeah.
So that's the answer.
Thank you, Dr. Bill. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. John. We appreciate what you just said, based upon our presenters, whatever he presented today. And one thing I wanted to say was is that about based upon your presentation, said ONPASSIVE fits into each circle, which means that you have to upgrade your income by adopting a better income system. You upgrade your result by modernizing your technology. You know that a lot of people, they don't really care about technology. What they care is money. Now, if you don't understand the technology, what do you think? You got to know what technology is all about. Now, circle of life, which includes ups and downs, the period of what? Intermission. We have been throughout like midlife crisis as founders. Now, a lot of are feeling off, and then some because they're angry, because they want fast money, which they don't really understand. Sometimes I would say, hey, when the Facebook or Mark Zuckerberg or whoever started, when they started, were you there? When they had problems, were you there? No. Just because you joined OnPassive and you just put your small dollars just like I did, and you're crying. Man, forgive me in that. And you make also to understand that you will be the same in the next 5 years as you are today.
Yeah.
Except
If you don't do something
we have to
about
work hard, right?
Yes.
We have to
yes.
work harder for it. And we really need to thank Mr. Ash.
Yes.
Mr. Ash is the culture and who is shaping the world. Mr. Ash is here and we all love him. What I would say is that when you guys have the time, let us pray for our CEO and his entire team as well as his family. We are praying because he loves us so much. He is fighting to make sure that you smile just like I'm smiling. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to thank each and everyone. Is there any question on the chat, Queen Yvonne Finn?
No, Dr. Benny, there's none at all. Not at all.
All
I just
right.
want to encourage Dr. John. I want to say, Dr. John, the halftime could be depending on how long you intend to live. You know that, Dr. John, right?
Absolutely. No, I just
Absolutely.
that's why I said all jokes aside, but it's just that when you saw the halftime book, I started.
Yeah, I know. I had it there too, but I just So, with that depends how long I'm going to go. Thank you, Dr. Bill.
When I had my 50th birthday in the year 2000,
Uh-huh.
I said, "This is the way their party."
Now you're talking.
Sure, go. That's the attitude. I'm going to adapt that attitude and keep it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate all of you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, we appreciate you, Doctor. Really good to have you. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yes, but it's good to wait. Good to come.
So before Dr. Bill disappears and we start having any other rankles, I mean, I know that you really that there is not really any one of those your slides that I didn't find intriguing and useful, but for some of us with the social media attention spans, what are some of the key 2, 3 things that you really tell us to take away to help us finish well in 2025?
Feed your mind with new ideas. Never be static. If you're waiting for something to happen and you don't keep your mind occupied, you'll evolve. But if you feed your mind with new information, you'll evolve. So I always think people need to always have something that they are focused forward on. We well focused forward on passive for many years about each of the technological tools. And many people, you couldn't talk more about Academy without seeing Academy. You couldn't talk more about hiring without seeing hiring. So that's the thing I really warn people about is don't dwell on what you don't have. Put something new that's real in your mind and focus on it. when the other things happen, when Ash brings them forward, then we'll get re-excited about talking about the individual products.
Mhm. You're encouraging us to study or to learn deep and wide, aren't you, Dr. Bill?
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
your mindset has to be forwards,
Mm-hmm.
and it always has to be new
Mm-hmm.
stimulation.
Yep.
You'll get old quicker if you don't stimulate your mind.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That is so true.
It is. Absolutely. It is. Because you see these 80s and 90s people, some of them are just graduating university or whatever. It's amazing. Really? How do they do it? And they're taking good, hard subjects. They're not just going there for. It's just amazing. So you see, all those things that we're thinking are true, they're just falling away. They're not true for everybody. It depends on the mindset, as Dr. Derek would say. So thank you, Dr. Bill, always pushing us forward. And Dr. John, I love that. Thank you, guys.
All right. Before Dr. Bill leaves for today, I would like him just to give us a closing remarks, if it is okay, Dr. Bill Williams. Thank you so much.
Summarize the summary of the summary.
Yes,
That's
Doctor.
what
If
he seems to be
everybody,
asking.
One
if
for the
everybody could,
road.
yeah, if everybody could smile as well as Dr. Benny, who could explain as well as Dr. Derek, and greet as well as Maria Pendy, then the world would be a happy place.
Well said, Dr.
Thank you,
Bill.
Dr. Bill. We really
Wow.
appreciate your knowledge, your intelligence.
Uh-huh.
Each time you come here, we look forward to being fed richly.
Yes.
And today is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We do appreciate that wisdom of yours that you keep on sharing endlessly throughout the world, where you and how many people you can touch.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, and I love to your family and the grandchildren.
Thank you so much, Dr. Williams. I am going to hand it over to the host, Queen Dr. Patient Ajongwe. All right. King Derek, are you available? Please proceed.
That webinar is with Queen Dr. Yvonne and Queen Yvonne Finn. You can join her. A wonderful person, wonderful webinar. The two twin Yvonne will be moving the webinar every weekday at 1 p.m. Also, Monday, there's a new time for Mindset Monday. It's pushed back an hour because we recognize Queen Miriam recognized that persons, don't come on until minutes to 7. So therefore, the Mindset Monday is going to be starting at 7 p.m. So please join Queen Miriam with Mindset Monday every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Tuesday and Thursday, of course, it's deep dive with yours truly. And of course, Queen First Lady Dr. Benny. That listen, without Dr. Benny, that webinar would not go on. So join us Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Wednesday, it's Julie Peer with Lifting Up Humanity. That is at 8 p.m. And on Thursday morning, Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m., it is Singapore, Malaysia. Yes, Queen Yvonne. Okay, it is.
Me? I
Okay,
didn't say anything, Dr. Derek. Please do go. No, sorry.
okay. It's Singapore, Malaysia. and it is Thursday morning. All right, Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there are many webinars going on that will help us with the mindset, because that is very, very important to your development, not just in ONPASSIVE, but your development as a person. Mindset is very important as a person, because a lot of persons that commit suicide, they are not in ONPASSIVE. So, but it's because they have the wrong mindset why they commit suicide. So please, mindset is very important in life. So let us cultivate the right mindset. And one of the first best selling, best book that every person, especially in the US and Canada and in the Caribbean, have on their bookshelf, which is the Bible. So you don't have to run and buy one. Queen First Lady Dr. Benny would give you one also if you don't have one. But I know that you have one because she has about five. So because she read it daily. So definitely, if you don't have one, honestly, don't have one, check with First Lady Queen Dr. Benny. She'll be more than happy to give you one. All right. So, but that is the best book to read. It has a very large wealth of information from 40 different writers that write the Holy Scriptures. So let us get one of those books, because the God of heaven, the creator of heaven and earth, says to us that he wishes above all things that we prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. So, if the Creator wants us to prosper, who are you and who am I not to prosper? All right? Most of the time, we are the ones that hold back our blessings. So thank you all very much for joining us today.
Sorry, Dr.
And
Derek, before you close, if you're closing, just one question, one request from Queen Edith. She's asking if we could all wish LNG a happy 80th birthday. So
right.
I'm not sure if you want to do that
Okay.
before or
Yes,
after.
ma'am. Yeah, amen, church. All right. Yeah, man. We get in there. All right. But we want to just
Okay.
do the final first. All right. And so thank you very much, Queen Yvonne. Very wise woman there. And when you catch her with the mindset, you also have a very wonderful mindset lady there also. All right. So thank you all very much for joining us. And at this time, we just want to acknowledge a couple people, because most definitely, without these persons, this webinar will not go on. And of course, we just want to first say happy birthday to everyone who is celebrating birthday in the month of January. Whoever that is, I don't know, but we know that there are, about 3 celebrants that is celebrating um, this month. And one of those celebrants is, of course, one of our own, King Alan G. And at this time, we just want to say happy birthday to King Al G. But before we get into it, we just want to first say so long to those on YouTube first, because maybe these videos might be copyrighted or so, we don't know. So in order to ensure that things are on the up and up, unfortunately, those on the YouTube, take care, have a good day, and we will see you on our next webinar, which hopefully will be tomorrow with Mindset Monday, Queen Miriam at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care. Those on YouTube.